There we go. All right,
Cool.
let's talk about some difficult questions. You're talking about lineage before. What was the John character into? You were mentioning about Ramana and Nisargadatta.
Yeah. Ramana, Nisargadatta, that lineage. I forgot what Nisargadatta's teacher was. But it's just the only thing that the way I got introduced to it, or I got interested in it, is I used to be very, I don't know. It's fine to mention names. I don't like to always mention names, especially the guys are still contemporary. But I used to love a guy called Bentino Mazzaro. Don't know if you ever heard of Bentino Mazzaro. So through his teachings and message that he conveys, you started to speak a lot about Nisargadatta Maharaj and Ramana Maharshi as well. So through that, I was introduced to self-inquiry, awareness, watching awareness, and the whole meditation of just silence and letting all thoughts go, and being in a place of thoughtlessness and just watching, being the observer, being the witness, and obviously there's a whole the teaching and the practice and certain methods um, that go. And at the time, it was for me probably, wow, this is like for me the key or the door to my liberation. you know as soon as long as I can just practice the self-inquiry, who's asking this question, who is this I, where's it coming from, and just constantly going, it will just disappear. I will just somehow disappear, and liberation or enlightenment or whatever it might be will spontaneously happen. And but that also led me into frustration, into a lot of like I mentioned to you the last time in our conversation that we had. I said to you, like, I began to ask, is there something wrong with me? Am I not getting it? Am I not getting something? Like, I'm doing everything. I'm like, Nisargadatta's Maharaj is now just focus on the I am. Just sit with the I am. And as long as you sit with the I am, it would come clear that this is, how does he put it? You see, I wasn't so well versed with it. I would normally just, and in my seeking, I would just literally take out, like, I would just almost like skim, and I would just take what I feel at the moment I needed or what I want from it. So that was like the shopping I was doing. So just taking what I want. And so this whole thing about sitting with the I am and just being in a state of I amness, I guess, and just being in a state of beingness or whatever. But it's always referred to as a state, always referred to as the state of no thought. But somebody was still doing it. You see, somebody was still trying and practicing something to get something out of it, or to attain something. So I was. Those were a few of the that I was very drawn to as in the seeking, in the parent seeking period. Yeah. So those are. I think that those are the two main teachers in terms of the lineages that I was like reading their things. I was following people that shared their message, which was still very much obviously in the realm of duality. There is somebody that can get this. There's somebody that can attain something. There's somebody, so the carrot was continuously dangling in front of me, and that energy just just gobbled up whatever it could find. There was even this guy, this book that I downloaded. He was also a person that actually wrote a lot of books about spiritual teachers, past spiritual teachers like Ramana Maharshi, Srinivasagadatta Maharaj, and there was other teachers in his the other teachers who he promoted and whose works that he promoted. And he also promoted the whole sitting for 2 hours just in this, awareness, watching awareness, and doing this for 2 hours every day, and taking one day out in the week, and for a whole day, just awareness, sitting with nothing no thought, awareness, watching awareness. And this endless practices, this endless doing of something to attain something. So that was a bit of my background with regards to these teachers, their lineages, and not deep. I never had a guru. I never had like a teacher that I always thought because it was said, that you need a guru. You need somebody to teach you that can also, that they can teach you, that can show out your ego, the thing about somebody to point out your ego, somebody to, I never had that. I always wanted it. I always thought, wow, baby, where do you get these people? I need to now leave my family and go to India or wherever, Himalayas, and go find somebody there. It was also like, it was also out of reach. And so it's like you have to get this PhD in spirituality, so to speak, or a triple PhD or whatnot. So that's a bit of that experience that I had there.
So right now, John, do you believe in the I am? Is the I am a dream?
The I am is the dream. I am real. The fact that because the I am is just another something. Like if you speak to me about, or the message, the way it's heard, is that the I am is, and I've heard people speak about consciousness, and I've heard people lump consciousness and this whole idea of consciousness in with the I am, and the I am and consciousness is the same thing. I am this, I am that, or I'm not this, I'm not that. It's still a referencing. It's still in the realm of the relative. Another word that people, consciousness and I am has just taken the place where religion is focused on a God. And it's just they can almost, so to speak, the place of a God, place of, but now it's more of I am. The I am is in me. I am the, or I'm part of. It's like this oneness, everything is just one. So the I am connects me to everything else that's outside, all other things, So that's just the dream, there is nothing. There's never been anything. What's appearing is just everything. It appears as everything. It appears as an apparent body. It appears as apparent speaking, as I'm saying, as we're speaking right now. There's no I am. There's no consciousness that could be superimposed or can be added onto what already is whole and complete. What already is, just as it is. With absolutely no requirements, absolutely no expectations of things to be, just simply what is already. Because also what I've encountered when people speak about the I am, speak about consciousness, speak about self-awareness or the absolute, it's all almost like steps. Like the absolute is the end and the void. So it's all like steps, and there's always a teaching. There's always teachings that goes and practice that goes along with it. So it just enforces the story. It enforces that I'm real, and that I can get somewhere, and I can get something, and that I'm real. I've got free will and choice to change whatever I want to change. I can change my life. I can choose that, and I can do these practices. I can follow certain teachings, follow certain mantras, do these practices, yoga, whatever, that's also just what is, it's not, that doesn't have to be any other way. That's completely fine. That's all as appearing as this. But the dream is that I'm doing it. The dream is that I'm going somewhere. There's this journey. There's this, for me to attain something. So when you ask me about the I am, if it's real or what is that? How do I see that? That's absolutely part of the dream. And somebody, and it presupposes if there's an I am, there's a somebody there that's not seeing that, and somebody there that's not believing that, and that needs to be taught, so to speak. Yeah.
Why do you think people are very irritated or or critical of this no messaging, no concession type of communication?
That's so obvious because there's absolutely nothing here for them. There's nothing in this for them. It doesn't feed the need. It doesn't feed. I posted earlier something. I said it's the me is like a constant supply and demand chain. It's a supply and demand chain. It just happens like that, you know. And once that constant supply and demand chain is there, there's going to be an apparent need for something else because there's a demand. It needs to be supplied. That is the story. That is the dream. That is the illusion of me, the dream of separation. And hence it cannot hear, it cannot see this message because it doesn't have anything in it for it. It's actually what it says, that the me never existed. It actually proposes, and it actually said, and the message is the end of me. So it's impossible for me to hear this. It is impossible. There's no way that me can hear this. Absolutely not.
Let's go to some difficult questions that I like. That growing up, John, um, did you believe in God?
The apparent in the story of me, yes, I believed in a God. I believe that I grew up in a Christian home. I went to church every Sunday. So as I believed in a God, I believed in a devil. So a lot of my religious background was facilitated and by guilt, you know, because if I don't do this, I'm going to be punished. You know, if I'm not a good boy, or if I, don't adhere to the commandments or whatever, you know, I'm not going to be a good boy. I'm not going to go to heaven. So yes, so the belief in God was very, very real indeed, you know. Although I did have questions as a young child, but you were taught, don't question the Bible, you know, don't question God. You just have to believe. I think I mentioned in my last conversation with you that I've always been the type of person that asked questions. I questioned everything, always. So I was born a seeker. You know, the seeking energy was strong, with the force was strong with this one, you know. So I came asking loads of questions, and but in all of this, in all of the religious stuff, believing in God, believing in the devil, whatnot, there was always an uneasiness with everything, you know, with how things, you know, what I'm told, what I need to do, how I need to do it. There's always been this uneasiness, but you kind of, to appease and to belong and to fit in, you kind of just go along, you know, and you silence try to silence that voice deep within you that, you know, that's asking these questions, and because you just want to be part of this all, because the me wants to belong, the me wants to be special, the me doesn't want to, you know, feel threatened. And so yes, to answer your question, like in the story of the me, there was a belief in a God. Yes.
So the follow-up question to that one is, what is God?
What is God? Wow, you're putting me on the spot here, eh? You want me to be burnt at the stake, eh?
This is the official enlightenment quiz. You know, if you pass, you'll get a certificate.
Oh man, God is an idea. God is a construct within the dream of separation. You know, the me, because of this need, because of this feeling of lack, you know, there's this whole feeling of a need. Something is missing, you know. Something is missing, and then the me grows up. The me grows up in a world where others, where there's other me's, or where there's an other. It start to relate to its world in a, you know, on a societal way, which is preferred by the society or the culture that he grows up in. You know, it kind of, unless it's like a total rebel, and that's also just another story as well. But it usually conforms because it gets validation from the other. The whole dream of separation is a validation. It's getting validation from something other. It's a belief that I'm real. It's a belief that I can find that I can change my situation, and a lot of it is not even consciously. It's more in the programming, that comes with the culture or the society where this supposed me grows up, and what is acceptable, what's culturally acceptable. So with that comes teachings, with that comes things like religion, things like, and with religion comes a God, or a Bible, or a certain book that's put and said this book or this teaching or my God, is the right God. And it once again puts things into boxes. It cannot help itself but categorize. Cannot help itself but have a certain position. This also the need that drives this is the need to feel special, is the need to have some sort of position, to say, I'm part of this family, I'm part of this tribe, or I'm part of this religion. And in that, it finds a sense of validation, it finds a sense of belonging, right? For not for long, but it apparently happens like that. And the belief in a God is then part of this the supply and demand chain. So somebody can tell, the me can then hear a message that it's a sinner, so something to that extent. It's a sinner that, without God, or without a God, a creator, somebody that created it, or somebody created the me, it feels, it gets told the story of something other, something, so magnificent, apparently, so beyond, that it's never seen. It cannot be seen. It cannot be put a finger on. It's so mystical. It's so mysterious. It's so, that what, because of the culture, because of everybody around it says that is so, it accepts it. So it's something other. It's a something other God, whether God exists, is part of the story. It's part of the dream of separation, and it's just fueled by the me character. It's fueled by the need to belong, the need to be accepted by the culture, and ultimately be accepted by a God. If it starts to really make those beliefs its own, and start to really imbibe that into, and really follow the teachings. And if the me can get to that place where it's very serious about it, and like I was that, very serious about this, about God, about my religion, about my faith, and about my relationship with Jesus. Jesus is like I've been told, Jesus is the way to God. So if there's any way, for me, if there's any way to God, I want to find it. If there's any way into heaven out of hell, I want to find that. So it's the seeking for pleasure, it comes out of this need for pleasure and the avoidance of pain as well. That's just what goes with the search. Continuously wanting to avoid pain and continuously want to seek out pleasure. And that's the ultimate message, or the story behind this whole God character, that there is something at the end of the road, a character dangling, which is heaven, and you can be with him forever, eternal life. So, and that, which all of that, it's just a story, man. It's just a dream. It's just part of the dream of separation.
Yeah, to me it's kind of like Santa Claus now.
Yeah.
Although,
Exactly.
although I grew up in the Philippines, and we had a big idea of Santa Claus, but when we came to Canada, when I was about 14, we came to Canada, it was some like, oh, so it was almost kind of like I questioned it already. Your certificate is in the mail. It's addressed to no one, and it's just addressed to nowhere. You'll get it soon.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
I had a question that was really, really good. It's a Cher song, Cher, right? The singer Cher.
Sorry?
Cher, the singer Cher.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's from her song. Do
Yeah.
you believe in life after love?
Yeah, I know that one. I know that one very well. That was quite popular in the 90s, my man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So the question is, do you believe in life after death?
Oh, do I believe? Okay, firstly, there's no one here. So there's no one here, absolutely no one here. And that's obvious to no one. So with that, there's no beliefs in anything. There's no beliefs in anything, Belief come out of doubt. Doubt comes out of a sense of, a sense of separation, or a sense of lack, or sense of need, that something is wrong with this. So the doubt that springs up comes out of that. So out of that feeling of lack, out of that feeling of something is missing. So and I'm real, and I can do something about that. So hence belief is needed to give it a sense of comfort, a sense of comfort. I believe in this, and if I believe in this, it gives me a certain position. It gives me something to stand on, which can almost like clear my doubts or settle my doubts. So it's once again avoiding pain for pleasure. So belief. You asked me if I believe in life after death. So yes, as I said, there's absolutely no one here. So death does not exist. Death is part of the dream. It's just this, life and death, and even the appearance of a body that dies, the appearance of a body that supposedly ceases to breathe and heart beating and all that is also just simply what's appearing, to no one. It's just what's happening. So firstly, there's absolutely no one here to be able to believe in death or believe in life after death, because there's absolutely nothing other than just this. So no. I don't know if it's to say no or no. Just there's nobody here. There's nobody here that can believe in anything, because there's nothing. It's just everything is just everything. It's everything and nothing. So if I say I believe in something, it means there is a me that has a position. It means that there must be a me here that can take a certain position. And because this is already whole and complete as it is, it doesn't exclude anything, and it's not exclusive to anyone. So there's absolutely no position for anyone here, and because there's never been anyone, to begin with. So yeah, it is a bit of a redundant question, but I understand you asking it. Asking me this one.
I just like asking these fun questions. Isn't it so liberating not to have any belief? It's like freedom. When belief is apparently seen as something that's illusory, then there's no more second guessing. There's no more doubts.
That's so true, my man. It really is. It's just this liberation. It's just this freeing. It's just this openness, and it's just openness. No one is experiencing.
I like that word, openness. It's just openness to anything and everything.
Yeah. It's just nothing. Nothing has to be a certain way for it to be okay. For this to simply be this, nothing has to change, nothing has to be a certain way. That for me is liberation. That for me is just wow. I'm like, when I even say that, it's like, man. Is it so simple? Oh my gosh.
It's so fucking simple.
Yeah.
So freaking simple. It's we don't even have to talk about it, but apparently this is happening. So people are asking, why are we doing this then? I really don't know.
You know what? Apparently it's fun.
It's passionate. It's fun.
It's right.
Yeah. When people ask me, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
Someone asked me recently if I'm still seeking. I'm like, yeah, the only thing that I'm seeking right now is the next spicier spice, because I'm on this journey of spice. So I tried bonnet pepper. mango pepper, and then I got into what was that? Ghost pepper is so good.
Okay. All
Yeah. It's
right.
super spicy. Do you like spicy food?
I actually do. I actually do.
Oh, we
I think
should.
you probably much more of an aficionado than what I am, or connoisseur, by the way you're speaking. But I do appreciate my curries. I'm from Cape Town, and it's quite the Indian. We've got quite a big Muslim, Indian, Asia, Malaysian culture here and background. So curries, we grew up with them, and so yeah, no, I enjoy my spicy foods.
Beautiful. So that's beautiful seeking spice.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
um,
I'm also seeking. I'm also still seeking. I'm
what are you seeking?
seeking. Ah, man, I'm seeking. Just to how to love my wife more. Although there's no one, it's just
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
it's just a fun activity, Apparently that's happening. So
You know
because
what's
she's amazing.
you know what's realized by no one. This is super serious of how ridiculously good looking and smart I am. Did you recognize that too?
It's recognized by no one, buddy. You said it.
Recognized by no one. So maybe you can tell your wife that apparently there's this ridiculously good looking guy that's
Yeah.
apparently really smart.
Oh yes. No, I will relay the message
That's
and
right. That's right. That's
let
right.
her judge for herself.
That's right. I asked Tony that question. I'm like, Tony, he was having this Zoom meeting. I'm like, how can it be that you could be ridiculously good looking and smart at the same time? So I don't really have any questions, but I'm just gonna like repeating questions for the sake of people. It's so funny because questions are also answers. It's the same thing.
No,
The
it's the
the
same thing.
it's the same thing, and it's just so ridiculous, all of this stuff, and it's so simple and ridiculously
Yeah,
clear. You know what I'm saying? For no one.
obvious. Yeah,
For no one.
yeah.
For no one.
No, no. You know what? I think we spoke about it the last time, and I don't know. There is. I don't want to use the word magic or, but there's something there's just something that apparently happens when this is articulated, when this is spoken, when there's there's a I don't know, like the word that comes, one of the words is openness. There's this a recognition of liberation, but liberation for no one. It's it's like I read this quote once. It said that art is making things for people. No, what did it say? It says art is making things that nobody needs. So, so this is happening for no apparent reason. There's nobody here that's doing this, and it's happening for no apparent reason. But there's this feeling of this apparent feeling of openness, just freedom, just to express. It's an expression that's coming out of no. It's just coming out of this, with no agenda. And I'm still talking about it, and I'm still talking about this, and I'm like, why the fuck am I still talking about this? But it's happening.
I know. It's especially because it's so hard to talk about this it's like being in a closet again. You know what I'm saying? Being in a closet, and now being able to speak about this to my friends and my family, because they'll be just like, what are you talking about? So when we're given it's the opportunity arises to speak about this, it's just like I talked to a bunch of there's a couple of like they're like in their early 20s, like 21, 20. And they were like, can we do a Zoom meeting with you? I'm like, about what? They're like, we like this non-duality stuff, and we just, and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I'm not a teacher, by the way, right? We're just talking as friends. So we talked about this, and I think the conversation lasted for almost 3 hours because they were just so
Wow.
enthusiastic about it. Because they're like, yeah, we kind of like, we listened to this. We were listening to Alan Watts before, and then we encountered Jim Newman, and then we encountered Nothing Media.
Wow.
Dude, can you talk about this? Can you kind of like, okay,
Wow.
but there is an openness now with and then there was two people in the beginning. There were like four people at the end. They were like, can I call my friend and ask him to join this Zoom thing? And I'm like, okay, you're making this special
Wow.
now. This is nothing special at all.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes.
nothing special. And I said,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. And they were like, wow, that is it's so it's kind of like um it's kind of funny because when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, um last year, and I'm just joking. I'm in my 40s.
I was a bit slow there now. Good
um,
one, Emerson.
yeah. So I lost my thought there because the vanity kind of like kicked in. You know what I'm saying? um,
It appears to happen that thoughts
that's
just,
right. That's right.
you know,
It's just what it
like
is.
the last time in our
It's
last
like a
parent conversation.
someone said it before, but it's like fart. Like thoughts are like farts. It happens. You can't control it.
Yeah, that is, oh wow. I've never thought of something like that. But that's almost the nature of thought,
Yeah.
It just, nobody's asking for, or there isn't anybody to ask for. That's why, you know what, the ridiculousness of claiming this is my thought, you know, it's absolutely, it's doesn't, it's not, it's ridiculous,
But you know what?
It's just,
Our languaging sets us up for failure. Our words set
mm,
us up for failure because the moment that you see, in my opinion, there's already an
yeah,
I. This is
yeah,
so it's and I've said this. It's a clarity that can't be described in words or can't even be expressed in words properly. So I
yeah,
applaud, eloquent speakers, hinting. You're doing it too. You're hinting really, really well at something that can't be flat out said. The barrier is because the words are dualistic in nature, right? So the dualism in words are so it
that's,
almost kind of like sabotages it.
yeah, yeah.
It
You know what?
sabotages it.
As it does. It's it's like this pristineness. Only way I can say it is like pristine, untouched. It's never been touched. It's never been touched. It will not. This has never been touched, and it will never be touched. Any word is almost doing a disservice and defiles,
It's like muddying.
defiles just this pristine.
It's like muddying the water the moment that you speak about it. The water is clear, and then you put your feet in it, and it muddies it. You're like, so I like it when
Yeah,
people tiptoe around it, not to
yeah.
try not to muddy the water because it's oh yeah, I remember now. So in my 20s, when I was looking at this one, um looking at some speakers, I was like, I think I mentioned this before, but I'll expand on it. It's kind of like only white people can get enlightened. I'm like, damn, I could
Yes,
not
yes.
see anyone. And then, but okay, this is the backlash to it. Then I went to the Indian gurus. I'm like, I'm brown, they're brown. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe, doing, mantras and stuff like that is the path for me because I'm brown. I'll never get to those people that are talking about this are white because maybe it's just for white people and for the entitled people, uh, you know, um, because I came as an immigrant. So I started doing that, and I went to an Indian sage, sat right by his feet. He gave me an audience, which was really fascinating.
Oh wow.
I was faking it, but I felt nothing. Everyone was so in love, and I was like, "Get me out of here."
Ah.
Where's the bar?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm telling you. Get me a beer, man.
Give me a beer.
Yeah.
It's like, It's like, you know
Yeah,
what, and you know what, and respect for people that are doing that. That's their stuff. I'm just expressing my, this kind of stuff. But
true.
yeah, I really, really tried hard to feel something. I was sad this bit. I was
Yeah,
expecting this kind of like glowing, like light energy or something, or and I was trying to really kind of like, I read the books, I read his books, and I was trying to get. I'm like, there's just something, and there's like this guru has like millions of followers, so I'm not going to mention the name.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it was just a story. It was just a story.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. No, true. I
How does it?
even
This is a long question. So how does it feel to be a black man? You know what I'm saying? In this
okay.
world, and I'm so glad I'm talking to you, because we should get Cheryl. You know Cheryl Abram, and there's another. She's black,
All
and get
right.
another, and just have these conversations, because I think for quite a while, there's no non-duality speaking with people like us.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm
No, but
saying?
no, no, definitely, definitely. Listen, I actually in where I stay in South Africa, right? I know in other parts of the world it's a derogatory term, but I'm actually referred to as colored. You know, in my, it's quite acceptable here because it's like we come from the colored people. It's like a mixed people between whatever from the past and came down and we here, right? So, but I'm fine with being black or being nothing, so or not. So, but that would be interesting, my man. I think the last time we spoke, we actually touched on this,
We
in the
did, yeah, we
seeking.
did, yeah. Well,
How we questioned. No, I would just question, is there any people like us that's that's into enlightenment, and is enlightened, any teachers, or didn't seem that way, But yeah, once again, it's just that's the story, it's nobody here. But it is interesting in the even in this playing out of these characters to kind of see these nuances, to be whatever, it's all fun and games,
yeah, it's funny because I don't even think of me as Filipino anymore, because there's no one. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really,
Yeah,
it doesn't bug me anymore. But during that time, I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
sharing a
yeah,
story that he used to bug me,
yeah,
that there
yeah,
was
yeah,
no
yeah.
one like
Sure,
me.
sure, sure,
You know, no
sure.
no one
It's
like
like
me.
somebody. It's like somebody had to have to like tap you on the shoulder and remind you and say, "Dude, you Filipino? What? Woo, me." There's no one here, but anyway, dude, thanks for the
Yeah.
reminder.
Yeah.
You Filipinos who act like one, man.
I'm just probably known as the weird one. They're like, oh, he's so weird, Emerson. He got into spirituality because, grew up as a
Dude,
Catholic. I used to sing to
yeah,
Jesus, and I really sang to
yeah,
Jesus. I really believed as a young kid. You know what I'm saying? That I was speaking directly to Jesus, and
yep.
um and saying my heart. And then my parents wanted me to become a priest at one point, because I was
Oh
so,
wow,
yeah.
oh wow. My
But there's
my
also,
parents were
so go ahead.
no, no. I just want to say my parents were very proud of me when I became like a pastor. Had this position in church and stuff. Wow, they were very proud. But when I step in, and my family, because my family, I've got a whole family that's very religious and very spiritual and all that, into Christianity. So I was like, it man, one of us, one of their own has, stepped into a position of that's prominent, that's seen as even like in our culture as where I come from as you've made it, so to speak. Uh, but yeah, that didn't last. Their bubble was burst. Uh, so yeah, I don't know what they're thinking right now. Because I've actually been maintaining a low key for the last number of years. As when this whole intense seeking journey after I stepped out of the church and all that, and started to really question for myself when this intense journey started. I don't know if I mentioned in the last video that I lost quite a few friends that thought I was, that I was lost, that I've rejected God, I've rejected Jesus. I'm asking questions about these things. And so I lost quite a few friends. And, so the last few years has been very, very low key, and I was fine with that, very low key, my wife, my family, myself, and we just did our thing in our way, so to speak publicly in this way in the last conversation, I must say there was a bit of intimidation and insecurity rising up, because it's just been quite a while since I've been since I spoke publicly or in a forum like this, that it was quite daunting, man. But I'm like, hey, just go with it, whatever. Anyway, I'm glad.
You have no choice anyway. You have no choice anyway, so.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, me too. You know what? I lost a whole bunch of friends because I just completely, I guess abandoned a whole bunch of beliefs. That's what it is. There's no one abandoning it. It just dropped. When I could not speak.
True.
Could speak to them about. And I don't have any motivation to speak about this. It's kind of funny because I don't have to prove anything. It's almost like there's no agenda.
Yep.
The old character would have made this special, but there's no specialness about it.
That's so true, because if what apparently happens is that you have this position and this belief, and with the belief comes, as you were saying, there's nothing special about this, but with this apparent belief and this apparent knowing that I can know something, that I know this, comes a certain, confidence or certain cockiness or certain pride in saying that, all right, if I know this, I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to prove that I'm going to dismantle your belief, dismantle what you are saying, and dismantle. And that's still what's apparently happening with even with this message. There's still there's still apparent selves that saying, all right, this is what I know, and how can we apparently poke holes into this message? And that's all just what's apparently happening, in the dream of separation.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for your time. I have to. He just disappeared there for a moment.
I know. I thought I was raptured. Went up to heaven, left you alone.
You were just. Oh, I thought that God took you from us.
Oh man, it was Emerson. It was. It was finally my day. I was hoping. I've made it.
Oh, dude, this is the rapture. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rapture happened already, and this is it. Look, there's you in eternity. There's me in eternity. This is infinite. Wow, I never really thought about this. We've actually survived the rapture. We're here.
This is rapture. This is just rapturous. You know what I'm saying? This
is the rapture. Yeah.
This is just rapture. Like what we are speaking, the speaking is just rapture. It's just, you know what I'm saying? It's nobody doing it. It's just, it's just I don't know. It's just rapture. It's just, anyway. I always said like something very not naughty, but it can be perceived as gross by somebody, It's like a constant orgasm.
For no one.
No.
Oh, we're going to be in so much trouble after this interview, so I better pause it here.
You must, or you should maybe edit that out, or just leave it, or whatever,
Oh yeah, I'll leave it. I don't usually edit now. It's okay. Well, thank you so much, John.
Okay.
I'm going to talk to you in a moment.